So it's Wednesday, April the 8th. So that field the boys are in hasn't been rolled at all. Look how easily Bo walks along it. I'm not being dramatic. I had no idea what was coming. I was just getting ready for the summer, just like everyone else. Every time I think about it, I get a really sickening feeling. I didn't even want to do this vlog, but I have to, because otherwise everyone will think my life is just roses and sunshine. This is Wednesday, and on Friday I rocked up to the yard with an epic day planned for the dogs. I'd planned an epic 2-hour adventure with the dogs, and on Friday Lara's farrier was due and I'd left everything out for him to deal with. I was going to just bish bash bosh do the horses and just go, but instead I found a horse that could hardly move, barely walk.
Guys, I'm having a cry because I got to the yard today and Bo couldn't move his leg.
So my first thought was he'd got himself cast and thrashed about in the stable and broken his leg. But then that theory was discounted and we just thought it was a huge amount of cellulitis. His hind hock, the left one, was the size of a tree trunk. I then made the huge mistake of turning him out because then I couldn't get him back in. He couldn't move. He then went down a couple of hours later. Whether he went down from sheer exhaustion or from muscle memory telling him that he can roll, or whether he
6 hours he's been laid down in the middle of the field, even when it started to rain. We covered him with rugs and nobody could get him up with a tractor, and the vet came and got him up in like 10 minutes with a lunge line, tractor. I said my goodbyes to him. I kissed him on his beautiful neck about 4 or 5 different occasions, breathed in his sweat. I said goodbye to him.
So the vet was saying that he couldn't not get back up because the leg was the size of a tree trunk. She was saying it's because of another reason. He was saying when she touched the affected leg, he should be wreathing with agony, but he wasn't. She was saying that he couldn't feel a thing and that he wasn't in pain. All I thought to myself was, if your own leg was blown up to the size of a tree trunk, a human being, and somebody stuck a pin in it, I don't think you would feel a thing either. These were my private thoughts, which I didn't say to the vet. She then checked to see if it was fractured or broken, and it wasn't. And that's when the vet started implying, in fact, no, openly saying that there were all sorts of neurological issues going on. She was saying that his tail was completely dead and that he couldn't feel a thing. So I thought, I have to speak now or forever hold my peace. I thought if my horse was on death's door, I needed to speak up now. So I started saying, as of today, as of today. I explained that when I wash his tail, he flicks his tail quite prominently, and when I stick the cold hosepipe up his backside, he does that huge butt thrust that horses do, clenching his butt cheeks very, very tightly. So any neurological disorder she was talking about most certainly didn't exist yesterday. So she injected him with a powerful antibiotic, rolled him over with a lunge line, and told me to whack him on his backside, which I did, and he got back up. Bo tried to get himself back up 1,000,000 times without our help, but he couldn't with that tree trunk of a leg, which we've now decided is lymphedema. Somebody at the yard said to me I was being rude to the vet, but I wasn't. I applaud the vet. She was super fast, super quick. She was quite honestly brilliant. Without trying to sound dramatic, if I was the only voice Bo had, I had to express my thoughts and say what I thought. And 4 days later, the vet said she thinks I was right.
Lovely face. I'm looking at him back in his stable.
I try not to be emotional about horses or give them human feelings, but I can honestly say when the vet got him back up, he just looked absolutely terrified. He'd been down for hours, and then she said to me, or somebody, hold his tail, and I moved forward and he was flinching, jumping about actually, because I'd been the one that was whacking him, and I said he won't let me near him. I don't care, I just didn't want him to fall back down.
Just driving home from my vet's. God, it's such a gorgeous day. Can't believe what happened last night. Picked all these up for Bo. Guys, I've been sleeping at the yard the last few days in a container so I can keep an eye on Bo.
So over the next 23 days, that huge, massive tree trunk of a leg swelling went down by about 85%. But in the meantime, over the next 48 hours, he couldn't go down at all. Otherwise, I was done for. The first night, he box walked all night long, and I got up every 30 seconds. Half the night, and then the second half of the night I actually physically went to sleep underneath his hay net. I was so shattered. The next night I slept in that container and I finally could not stay awake. I felt like I was in that horror film where if you go to sleep you'll die. I needed a coffee. I had nothing. I fell asleep for 4 hours. I got up. I don't have cameras in his stable. Nothing. Got up, rushed back, and he was stood up still. So I thought, right, if he can get through 4 hours, he can get through the night. So the third night, I turned back up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he was walking quite fast, but it was still the adrenaline. It was still the effects of the antibiotic, the powerful antibiotic, and all the steroids and everything that he was on. So that's me here taking him out at like 5 in the morning. I just wanted some privacy. I didn't want the whole world watching us.
He's like, doesn't give a shit.
Hi guys, I was just so surprised that he could walk like this because 2 days earlier he could barely move. On the 6th day, I discovered a dermatitis and a mud fever which went all the way up the leg. It took 4 hours over a 3-day period to remove it all. It was that extensive. The swelling started to go down significantly after that. So I kept Bo in for 12 days, and in the next clip you'll see that he's begun to lose weight dramatically. So as an in-hand horse, Bo was always absolutely rubbish and he couldn't care less. As a ridden horse, he was very gung-ho, let me at it, and extremely forward-going. I was just trying to get him to do little exercises to lift and bend his hind leg. Then I just got him to walk up and down some hills to get him to stretch his hind end. Hadn't let him off the lead rope once in 12 days, so I was a bit shocked with what happened next.
Bo has just dragged me. Oh my God. Gordon, how did he get out?
Hi guys, that anxiety in my voice. I didn't want Bo near one of the brothers while he was in recovery.
Bo just dragged me across the yard because he saw a train, which don't know if he thought it's other horses or a dinosaur.
So it's been 12 days Bo's been in now and he's begun to really lose weight.
For the leg, and he cantered across their favourite part and he was bouncing off the floor, which is as far removed from the horse we saw last Friday that you could possibly
imagine. So this was the first time I discovered that Bo could actually canter about.
So naturally...
Sorry guys, I think I've got my timeline wrong. So this is not 12 days later. This is about a week later.
For the leg and everything.
So what's happened just now, completely unprecedented. I was practicing my little cavaletti exercises with him, and next thing he was just gone. So yes, it's told me a lot about his state of being. I mean, if he's bouncing off the ground like that, but it's also scared me how quickly things can go wrong. On the 14th day, he finally rolled and got himself back up for the first time. Saw stable stains on his hocks 2 days earlier, which clearly meant he'd been lying down and getting back up without too much drama. So 2 days later, after I saw the roll, I turned him out with his best mate. So after 2 weeks of what can best be described as just complete and utter hell, this was really a sight for sore eyes. I noticed after the steroid and antibiotic course finished 2 weeks later, the swelling just came up a tiny bit. So the vet basically said, use 60 paracetamol a day indefinitely. So I did. The steroids were the antibiotics were £63 a tub. And the box of paracetamol is 29 pence a box. So here you'll see he's mildly lame in the back end because the swelling wasn't going down enough. So since then, I put him back on the paracetamol. So that by this point I had no worries about him. He was rolling regularly, getting himself back up. So those worries were completely gone. That anxiety for the first 12 days. My concern now was I wanted to get that swelling down more. So yeah. Hi guys, I haven't got a clue what this week's vlog is going to be about. No idea. Hi guys, I'm just talking about random rubbish here. I've just stuck this in to show you that from the first clip where I was crying to about 3 weeks later, yes, I've been through hell, but I'm just feeling so much better. Now, I am just a complete and utter tomboy. I'm not a girly girl whatsoever. I was a tomboy growing up. As a little girl, I had 3 obsessions. The first was horses, dogs, and it had to be big dogs, and football. Yep, I used to go everywhere with a football. I remember once when I went into a waxing parlour about 10 years ago. Yes, I did that. I used to do that. The girl asked me, she was trying to make conversation, asked what kind of dog I'd got, and she said, was it a big or a little dog? And I said, a big dog. And she said, what do you want with a big dog? And I replied, what do you want with a little dog? Anyway, it is absolute. I'm going to show you how hot it is. I've completely forgot what I was going to say. That's it, just remember what I was going to say. The only thing about big dogs is they really are hard work. I mean, seriously. Yeah, training and stuff like that. But it's worth it. Anyway, that's the thing that I forgot. Look guys, and this is 10 to 6 in the evening. So it hit 27 degrees in the car, but I know it wasn't that outside. So the top temperature today was 22. So I guess you guys in, I don't know, some of these countries
Florida, places like that. It's not a country, that's a place, but to a lot of people that's not hot. But to us, I mean, I reckon, I can't speak for other Brits, but for me, for us, it's like a bit of a heat wave. And oh my god, bring it on. I mean, I say that, you know what, you've got to, my focus is, you know, especially when you've got older horses, keeping them cool, hydration. Anyway, that's enough of that.
So this is 23 days later. I know it's a bit random and it's a bit stupid, but I can dare to take these risks now. So what I've done is I've just turned his best mate out, and I've done this just to show you all this what he's doing, toe tapping. He could not do any of this a couple of weeks. So 2 weeks of powerful antibiotics and steroids has helped remove the swelling. Over a 4-hour period spread over 3 days, I removed a scaly, mud-fevery thing that was wrapped around the whole of his left hind. That freed up movement in his left hock and significantly reduced the swelling in his left fetlock. I've been doing gentle bending exercises the way a farrier would with his hocks, and removed all protein from his diet. On day 1, it was as though his whole left hind was encased in a cast. On day 23, he can now do lateral movements and bend with it quite easily. He only has 60% bend in that hock compared to 100% on the other side, but he's 24 and I'm working on it.
Take me to the jungle, teach me time.